Many new weapons and items were added with the recent big November update, and we were able to get some of them already. And in this video I want to take a good look at their viability, if they are really strong, and of course how you can get them. A like on the video would be super appreciated, and let's go. Let's start with a gun that you can get from the final boss of the Molly 1 takedown, Wotan the Invincible, and that is the Moonfire Pistol that I love a lot. And that is mostly because of the insane raw power. It has 1831 damage, making it great in almost every situation. And the thing with this gun is that the third shot is extra powerful, and the difference is really noticeable. Like normally you hit 6k on the dummy, for example, and then this third shot does 14k on the same spot. But really, the higher the regular damage, the higher the damage difference is of this third shot. So you really wanna hit the third amped shot for the maximum damage output. And you see the cryo version right here, and I think that that is really a perfect fit for this weapon, because now I can use it against all types of enemies, while you can really get this gun in every element except for incendiary, according to the Borderlands wiki. Normal might also be quite nice, or radiation, while corrosive and shock will be very handy against armor or shields. But likely only against that, although I did not try it myself. It's a Stork pistol without any sticky ammo, just regular bullets, but again, the third one is amped. And it could be a reference to the Hawkmoon from Destiny that also has like a chance of dealing more damage with a single shot, only that was more random. While the Moonfire is way more reliable, like every third shot. Again, I really like this gun, and I want to thank Jerks Bloodshed for sending it to me on PS4. Will of course try and get all the weapons myself, but the drop chances are pretty low, as you maybe already noticed. So totally nice if people reach out so I can try and demonstrate the gun here in a video. And I actually want to give this Moonfire gun away as well, because again, it's pretty rare and you get it from the final boss of the Molly 1 takedown. All you need to do is put your PlayStation Network ID in a comment under the pinned comment, and be sure you are a subscriber of the channel before you enter. And then I will pick a random winner and send that person the gun on the PlayStation 4, because I also play on PS4. I will announce the winner in a future video. Psychics3 won the Corrosive Cutsman, by the way, from the Legendary Farming video. I sent you a friend request, and then I will send you the gun. Let's move on to another Destiny reference, although this one is way more clear. The Borderlands gun is called Good Juju, where the Destiny gun was called Bad Juju. And well, both weapons, just like with the Hawkmoon and the Moonfire, kind of function in a similar way. The Good Juju is a burst fire assault rifle. We found the incendiary version from the Rampager boss, and this is actually one of the new dedicated loot drops from this boss. Like, if you farm this boss over and over again, then this Good Juju should drop at one point. But you can also get it in the takedown from both the Valkyrie squad and also from Wotan. And it's a pretty fun weapon to use, because it instantly refills your ammo after killing an enemy. So especially great when shooting against regular enemies, especially if you're not really on a high Mayhem mode. It's not as powerful against bosses or high health enemies that you mostly see on Mayhem 4. Still though, the reload of this gun is pretty quick at 2.3 seconds, but it's of course great if you could simply skip that and keep shooting. What I found is that this gun works extremely well in the Cistern of Slaughter map. Of course, an incendiary version works here, but here you got a ton of regular health enemies, and this on Mayhem 4, then you almost never have to reload your gun because your magazine refreshes every time. It's a pretty fun weapon to use for sure. We also got some new shields with this update that drop at the Molly 1 takedown. One of them is an interesting one, the version 0.M. And when equipping it, you will immediately notice that your weapon now has this cool effect, meaning that the first shot you do is an amped one that significantly deals more damage. Like with the companion here, it's more than double compared to a regular shot. And the cooldown of this effect is pretty nice too. Like, you will almost immediately see this effect again when you move your finger off the trigger a little bit. Of course, we also see that for other amped shields, but this version 0.M also does something else. When the shield namely breaks, you create this red circle on the ground, and if you stand inside that red circle, you deal more damage. But yeah, it does make you pretty vulnerable if you just stand inside the shield, and remember that it appears when your shield is broken. And when you're in a battle with multiple enemies, it can also be pretty hard to find the circle, let alone stand inside it to benefit from the increased damage. Overall, it's an average shield in terms of capacity, so if you want the increased damage, then it's quite a good one. Another new shield that you can get from the 2 bosses at the Molly 1 takedown is called the Snowshoe, and this one is comparable to the red card shields we actually already had before the November update, where if you slide into an enemy, you deal bonus damage based on your current shield strength. So meaning that your shield fully depletes, but when you do this, you actually deal more damage depending on how big your shield still was when you approached the enemy. And in the case of the Snowshoe, it actually has another interesting effect, because here you namely deal cryo damage when you slide towards the enemy. And if you still got a full shield, then there's a very high chance that that enemy will be frozen in place, so you can deal increased damage, and the enemy is of course unable to do anything. But yeah, the downside is that you have 0 shields when this effect triggers, so when you hit the enemy with your slide. So it's great when fighting single targets, but not really good if you are in battle against multiple enemies that can easily take you out when you have no shield. You do have the 30% of the Nova damage is returned as health though, but yeah, when your shield breaks, you mostly have full health, of course. Either way, it has an average capacity at level 50, and also good to note is that when the shield breaks, you also have this Cryo Nova that can freeze multiple targets. So you don't have to focus on the slide to benefit from these special effects. And again, you get it from the Valkyrie squad or Wotan in the Molly 1 takedown, and as the name suggests, it only comes in the cryo variant. The next gun is also from this raid-like activity and actually seems to be a final boss exclusive, so not a drop from the Valkyries, but only from Wotan. And that's the Tix Boom that, as the red text of the weapon already kinda teases, drops a meteor when you shoot it. And they seem to occur when you score a crit. So that's very awesome, and it deals of course some extra damage as well. And thanks to the nice fire rate and pretty great magazine size, you can continuously rain down these meteors onto the targets for some nice hits. Like I'm Flak, I use the fade away so I always score a crit, and then you will have these meteors appear all the time. Also nice is the Anoint we found on this weapon, where you deal 1% more weapon damage per hit. Although if you miss, then the bonuses are reset. But yeah, with a shotgun, it's pretty hard to miss. The only problem right now with this gun is that the meteors do not always drop. Like I score a ton of crits here in Electra City, but you do not see this extra effect, and that's of course pretty sad. So it seems to depend on the location, but I don't think that this is supposed to happen, so it might be a bug that Gearbox will fix in the future. Of course, if you got more theories after using this gun yourself, let me know in the comments down below. I would argue though that even without this special effect, even without the meteors, the Stork Shotgun is still a very nice weapon, and of course better if you use the element wisely. Like this corrosive version is great on armored enemies. Overall a pretty cool gun, and I feel that that's like overall the case with all the 3 new guns that were added with the November update, and they are all quite good and fun to use. And there are actually even more that we did not touch on yet in this video and actually still need to farm. So Dennis and I will totally be doing that and then highlight those weapons in a future video. But of course, if you already got one of the weapons that we did not highlight here, you can always reach out via the input@jorraptor.com email address, just like Jerk's Bloodshed did, so we can help each other out. I will immediately send the weapons back as well after I duplicated them. But yeah, can't wait to jump back into the takedown and try and get those new guns. Subscribe of course for everything Borderlands 3 if you haven't already. Way more content is coming your way. Don't forget the Moonfire giveaway in the pinned comment. A like on this video would be really appreciated. And don't check out the previous video about secret changes from the November update if you haven't already. You can watch it by clicking on the screen, or I will link to it at the end of our golden chest opening that Dennis and I always like to do at the end of a Borderlands 3 video. Hey Dennis.
Hello.
What is your favorite weapon or shield from the ones we just touched on in this video?
Well, if it works, I'm a very, very big fan of the Tix Boom.
Okay.
Especially the corrosive version, because it does a lot of damage and the whole meteors raining down from the sky. It just looks awesome. It looks pretty cool.
For sure.
So yeah, I really like that one.
I can see why.
What I don't like is everything in this chest.
I actually did, like, for the golden key video that I will link to in a second, I just opened the golden chest like multiple times and I really feel that they nerfed it. I think it also has to do with that the Mayhem doesn't count maybe anymore. Maybe that's also...
Yeah, that definitely could have something to do
Yeah.
with it, but once again, look at this.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I did see a while airborne on Mayhem 3. While I first thought that it was exclusive to Mayhem 4.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, we did learn something. If you want a cool golden key, then you can watch this video by clicking on the screen, or the video on the secret changes that were added with the November update that Gearbox did not tell us about. Subscribe, of course, for everything Borderlands 3. We got way more cool videos coming your way. A like would be super appreciated. And for now, we will speak to you next time. Goodbye!